Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim Kelly. This is The Real Sports Talk. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at CashKelly_TRST, Facebook.com/The Real Sports Talk, and then check out Section215.com. I'm the editor of that website. It's the fan-sided Philadelphia affiliate, so make sure you go ahead and check that out. Now, Dwight Howard, the free agency officially began last night, and this was a topic that I wanted to talk about because a lot of people are discussing where should and where will Dwight Howard ultimately end up. And I think that it feels like a discussion that I've been having for 2 or 3 years now, dating back to when he became disgruntled in Orlando. He went to LA, and I felt like once he was in LA, there was very little chance he was going to leave. And if it wasn't for any of the teams that I've listed below. It would have been for the Brooklyn Nets. That obviously is out of the picture now because the Nets just do not have the cap situation and never appeared to be quite as interested in bringing in Dwight Howard. I mean, they had interest, but they weren't as interested in bringing in Dwight Howard as Dwight Howard was interested in him being brought in by the Brooklyn Nets. So the 5 teams that we're looking at for Dwight Howard to potentially go to, and these teams are putting together huge marketing campaigns, and I know that people are saying, oh, they're going over the top, it's one guy. I hate when ESPN and SportsCenter and everyone overcover this, or whatever the proper term of this is, where they jam it down your throat. Every single SportsCenter begins off with a repeat of talking about Dwight Howard, but I remember back to 2010 with LeBron, with Wade, with Bosh, with Dirk Nowitzki, Paul Pierce. Everyone was a free agent in 2010, and this just doesn't seem like a ton to me, coupled with the fact that LeBron's going to be a free agent next year again, so I think it's just a warm-up for next year. Now, looking at these teams, you got the Lakers, who he obviously played for last year, had a rough season, never really got in a groove, had his lowest scoring average since 2005-2006. They're an option. You have the Dallas Mavericks, who are a team that cannot really put a ton around him until next year when Vince Carter and Shawn Marion, 2 veterans who in their prime were tremendous players. In the case of Vince Carter, a superstar and one of the greatest athletes that the NBA has ever seen. Unfortunately, they don't bring a ton now. Dirk Nowitzki's creeping towards his mid-30s, and I gotta say, honestly, I do not see what the motivation for Dwight Howard to go to Dallas would be. I don't see anything happening there, because if you look over at another team in that state, they are backing the truck up for this guy. They are willing to trade Jeremy Lin and Omar Sheik. Obviously, they're going to trade Omar Sheik, but by trading both Lin and Sheik, you're going to be able to bring in another player next year, coupled with the fact that you already have a superstar in James Harden. You have Kevin McHale, who's the coach, who was a tremendous big man in his day, and then you also have Chandler Parsons, who's a very good young player. To me, that makes the most sense if I'm Dwight Howard, would be to go to the Houston Rockets. Now, the other 2 options are really long shots that I just kind of rule out. The Golden State Warriors are a very good young team, but they just do not have the cap flexibility to really make this seemingly work. And Steph Curry, as good as he is he as intriguing as playing with James Harden, potentially Dirk or Kobe Bryant? Probably not. Maybe more than Kobe, because I'm not sure him and Dwight Howard saw eye to eye. But I'm not sure that he... And I'm not saying that I wouldn't do that, but I think in the case of Dwight Howard, I just do not see him going to Golden State. If he's going to stay in California, I see him staying with the Lakers. And then you have his hometown Atlanta Hawks. It's a place he'll consider. I think had Chris Paul seriously considered it, then the Hawks would have been a realistic place that we could have at least talked about them as one of the top 2 or 3 teams without Chris Paul going there. I like what the Hawks have done, clearing cap space, moving on from Josh Smith, moving on from Joe Johnson, and gearing up to make a run at someone, but I just don't see him ending up in Atlanta. So you look at the 3 teams in my mind that realistically have a shot, and that is the Lakers, the Mavs, who, again, I don't see why you would go there, but Mark Cuban is a very persuasive person. Dirk is a superstar, and you don't rule anything out with Dwight Howard, and then the Houston Rockets. So out of these 3, I think the most likely team to see, and the best option would be for him to go to Houston. I mentioned all the reasons why I would go to Houston if I'm Dwight Howard. But the Lakers are the Lakers, and they can be very persuasive. They're going to pull out a lot of cards. Phil Jackson already sent him a tweet. You're going to have a team of Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash, and God knows who else. Kareem, I'm sure, will be there. And anyone that the Lakers can get there to help persuade Dwight Howard will be at this meeting to sign Dwight Howard. The problem is, A, everything that happened last year, B, the fact that Mike D'Antoni is still the head coach, and Dwight Howard has made it pretty clear that he does not feel that he has the ability to thrive in Mike D'Antoni's system. So that's your biggest problem. And then it's nice. It's incredible. It would be incredible to me. I think it would be incredible to a guy like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, who sees the game's history and has such a respect and love for the game's history, if you bring in all these NBA legends. For Dwight Howard, I just don't get the sense that that's the type of thing that's going to persuade him. I don't. And I think that the Rockets actually have an advantage with bringing in a guy like Yao Ming, because it's someone that Dwight Howard relates to a little bit better because he played at the same time. Bringing in someone like Hakeem Olajuwon, because Dwight Howard probably watched him more when he was a kid. Kareem is past Dwight Howard's time. Kobe Bryant is a legend in himself. Steve Nash is one of the best shooters the NBA's ever seen, one of the best passers the NBA's ever seen, but they don't count as legends technically because they are still playing and they're trying to persuade Dwight to play with them rather than to come to the team that they made their name with. And Steve Nash obviously did not make his name with the Los Angeles Lakers, but you get my point. So I think they have the Lakers. He's already there. They can offer him the most money, although without the income tax or whatever in Texas, a Rockets deal or a Mavericks deal would virtually equal the same amount of money, just the fact that you get one less year. I think that the most likely spot is Houston, and that's a spot I would go to. The second most likely spot is the Lakers. I think I'd still rather go to the Mavericks than go to the Lakers with everything that went down with him and Kobe last year. It did not work with him in the Lakers. He is not a Los Angeles big market type of guy, and that's why I think going to Houston would be the best opportunity. But I think the Lakers are more likely to do it because Dwight Howard has made it clear that despite all the drama, he does want to win championships and he wants to do it quick. And the fact is that you have Kobe Bryant there, the fact that you have Steve Nash there, I think that is more appealing than going to Dallas. The thing that Dallas has is they have, I think, probably the best head coach out of all three of them. But I'm not sure necessarily that that's going to be the first thing that goes into the mindset. I'm not sure that Dwight Howard is looking necessarily at who the coach is for the other two teams. I think that he's looking at who the coach is for the Lakers and potentially ruling them out or dropping them lower on his list. So I want to hear what you guys think. I think he ends up a Houston Rocket, and I think that it's probably sometime early next week that we see this get done. Yes, they can't technically agree to the deal till July 10th, but they can verbally do it and send it out to me. Chris Paul basically agreed to re-sign with the Clippers at 12:01, so we'll have a pretty good idea before July 10th is my guess where Dwight Howard ends up. So go ahead and subscribe, youtube.com/MrKelstar, facebook.com/TheRealSportsTalk. Like that up for some good content. Follow me on Twitter at CashKelly_TRST, KASHLE_TRST, and Section215.com for the best Philly sports breakdown on the internet. I'm Tim Kelly.